Welcome home to the Hearth Wanderers. I'm Lana. Today we're diving into my tried and true glitches, a meticulously gathered collection of quirks, oddities, and cozy little chaos I've learned during my time tinkering around in Palia. But rather than just showing you a list, we're going to build something together, a rustic harvest house tucked into the heart of autumn. As we decorate, I'll show you exactly how I use these glitches to bring a little extra magic and mischief into my builds. So grab a warm drink, settle into your comfiest chair, and let's make some beautiful mistakes together. Let's start with the bowl method to create the bones of a rustic ranch kitchen and breakfast nook. This one is a staple in my toolkit because it lets us get our cozy clutter really close together. I'm talking about that lived in, somebody actually bakes pies here kind of rustic. All you need to do is place a gourmet bowl on top of your item, then click Alt and left click on PC, or if you're on console, you will need to use your map button like ZL or L1 for example. You'll know you got it right when you hear that satisfying little clink after multi-selecting. To start laying out the kitchen, I placed the ranch sink underneath the window. To the left of the sink, I tucked in a homestead floor cabinet rotated backwards beside a wall of merged wooden pillars, which I'll walk you through how to do next. Using the bowl method, I then nestled in a pantry, another rotated homestead cabinet, and two ranch floor cabinets to shape the main kitchen layout. Next, we'll create the breakfast nook by lining the corner walls with the mayor's wooden pillars. Using the bowl method here helps you align them closely, giving the look of a charming half wall. Then I added builder's wooden pillars to each outer and inner corner for a custom built-in effect. Now for the seating, merge two ranch benches together in the corner of your little half-wall nook, and then place a ranch chair on each outer end of the benches using the cut method to complete the look. To finish off this part of the build, we'll use the bowl method to create a kitchen island with a stove, an attached dining table, two rotated homestead floor cabinets, and a mix of ranch and log chairs. It's a cozy functional centerpiece that really brings the feeling of the rustic ranch house charm. We are now going to set up the bottom and middle layers for our custom fireplace using the mayor's stone pillars. Using the bowl method, I am merging a row of 4 pillars and then one on each side in front. I then stack 3 more stone pillars on top of the bottom layer using our handy dandy bowl. When we get into the next glitch, which is the flick method, we will add in the top layer of stone pillars to complete the structure of the fireplace. Glitch number 2 is called the flick method, and honestly it's one of my absolute favorite glitches. This one is a little bit tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, it really opens up so many decorating possibilities. The flick method lets you place items in tight spots where the game usually gives you the something is in the way error. It lets you break past that restriction and sneak items into those awkward or impossible spaces. I personally like using a pillar for this because it's easier for me to see, but this glitch actually works with any placeable item, even wall decor, as long as you're using another wall item to flick into place. You'll see that I use the flick method to place in some young pine trees inside my cozy cabin. So satisfying, right? Who doesn't want a living tree inside their cabin? Since we started building the fireplace in the first glitch to line up and merge the bottom and middle row of pillars, I now want to add in that top tier of pillars, which requires the flick method. Before adding the top layer of pillars, I use a stone paver to flick in 2 more stone pavers as a base. This helps bridge the gap between the tops of each pillar, making it easier to flip the next layer exactly how I want it. Getting the spacing right was a bit of a dance, but I just kept adjusting and flicking until it lined up exactly the way I wanted, and that's it. Between the cup method, the flick method, and the sinking method, we've got ourselves a super cozy custom fireplace. And I thought it'd be really pretty to flick in some terracotta pavers at the base of the fireplace to make it look more finished looking, especially to blend in with the sunken fireplace. And hey, if you want a full walkthrough on how to build a cozy stone fireplace using the stone pillars, I have a whole video just for that. The link's down in the description if you want to check it out. Lastly, I flicked a flotsam towel rack on the wall behind the ranch lamp using a place picture frame as my flicker item instead. Are you having some issues with this method? Here are a few common things that might be happening. Number 1 is you didn't place your flicker item first. It has to be in the world before you try to use it to flick. Number 2 is you're getting the wrong error message. If it says location is outside of placeable area, the flick won't work. You need it to say something is in the way. And number 3 would be your timing might be a little bit off. You need to click to place and press the number key at the exact same time, not a second before or after. It's got to be synchronized. The syncing method allows you to sync items so that they have a different look or function other than what it was intended for. For our cozy cabin build, I'm going to show you how to sync and place the Spring Fever fire pit to use as a flame for the stone fireplace. At your glitch setup wall, place a small wood paver on top of the shelf. Off to the side, place a Spring Fever fire pit on top of a red present. Pick up the wood paver and move it directly below the shelf, but don't click to place. Cancel place it with another item in your inventory using your number hotkey associated with that item. Pick up the present with the fire pit sitting on top and place it normally, right on top of that ghosted paver. Now, pick up the paver and move it to your fireplace, and then place it between your stone pillars. And just like that, the fire pit will sink into place, creating the glowing flame for your fireplace. The height of the industrial shelf on the glitch wall determines how far down your item will sink. So if you're finding your item is going underground or is too close to the ground, move your industrial shelf down on the builder's wall and try again. Now we're going to use the sinking method to decorate out of bounds using the builder's floors and pavers. Start by stacking 4 small wood pavers on top of each other. Take the top paver, move it forward and away from the stack, and then cancel place it using a number key with a different decor item in that slot. Now grab a builder's floor and place it right on top of that canceled paver. From there, start connecting more builder's floors to the first one. You can make this grid as big or as small as you want, so play around with it. Once you've got your layout, stand in front of the first floor you placed, angle your camera up, and then the green highlight will jump from the floor to the paver. When that happens, grab the paver and place it again. After you place it, the floors will sink into the ground and the paver becomes your anchor point. Now you can pick that paver up and move it as close to your boundary as you can in order to get the pavers out of bounds. Then you'll be able to place decor normally. I use this method to flick a tree over the mailbox. We are now going to create a wooden walkway from the edge of the plot all the way up to the cabin. You're going to need so many camping log tables, like so many. Warm up your axe, bestie, you're going to deforest Killama. Place your industrial shelf on the glitch wall, about 2 tiles up from the ground. If it's any higher, the table might sink too far down. Place a small wood paver on top of that shelf. Pick it up and then move it just below the shelf and then cancel place it just like before. Now place a log table with a gourmet bowl on top of it off to the side. Alt select both of them and carefully place them on top of the ghosted paver. Now you can pick up the paver with the table and bowl attached and then place it again. This will sink the log table at just low enough to act as a walkable path. But wait, why aren't my tables merging together? Okay, great question. If your tables aren't overlapping the way that you want, it's because you need to ghost them into place using another glitch method, aka glitch number 4, the ghosting method. The ghosting method lets you merge items together that normally wouldn't combine, which means you can create entirely new looks using your favorite decor items. For this glitch, we're going to create a sunken log table pathway. Normally I'd use the alt select method, but these tables just don't merge into one another, so you end up with weird spacing. And I don't know about you, but that drives me nuts. So instead, I'm going to ghost everything together for a much cleaner, seamless result. It's a bit more work, but totally worth it. You'll need some sort of reference point to help you line up your next table with the previous one. So for that, I like to use the gourmet knives. They're thin and easy to place exactly where you need them. Start by placing your first sunken table using the group select or alt select method. Then grab your second table and line it up as close as you can to the first. Once it's lined up, take your gourmet knives and mark where the first table ends, or if you're curving, where you want the overlap to start. Now here's where the ghosting comes in. Grab your first table, just the table and not the paver, and move it out of the way, but don't place it. Instead, cancel the placement by pressing a number key linked to a decor item in your hotbar. You'll see this table pop off to the side. That's your ghosted piece. Next, alt select the second table, align it with your place knife, and then place it normally. Then swap to another housing plot and then come back. When you load back in, the two tables will now be slightly merged and perfectly aligned. Curved paths, however, are a little bit more finicky because when you rotate a table, the outer side swings further out, so you'll need to compensate for that. What I like to do is rotate the table into the position I want before ghosting it, then use the knives to mark where I want the inner corner edge to meet once it's placed. This does take some trial and error, but if you go slow and stay precise, you'll end up with a super polished path. Once I get a rhythm going, I just keep ghosting and placing, loading in and loading out until the path is done. Oh, and you'll also notice I use the bowl method to add two little camping log shelves as steps on either side of the path. It helps tie the whole pathway together. Back inside the cabin, I'm working on a cozy console table that stretches the length of the broken window, and I want to tuck the ranch wardrobe into it at a slight angle. This will let me blend the two pieces together like they were always meant to be there. I start by laying out the homestead floor cabinets using the bowl method for easy placement. Once I've got the spacing right, I move the cabinets 2 and 3 out of the way by cancel placing them off to the side. Then I grab the wardrobe, rotate it just how I like, and place it into position. After that, I load into another housing plot and return. And just like that, the cabinets have popped back into their original place, now beautifully merged within the wardrobe. While we're at it, let's do one more merge. I'm going to grab the stove in the kitchen and cancel place it to the side. Then I'll place a floor cabinet where the stove was, load into another plot and come back. Now the stove has returned and the cabinet is perfectly merged into it. This little trick lets us place decor on top of the stove, like a cornucopia basket and candles for that warm harvest season vibe. It's a small detail, but it really brings the whole space to life. I didn't quite like the height of the table, so I stacked 3 gourmet cutting boards to get the height of the cornucopia and candle just right. You can use this glitch in tons of creative ways. For example, try merging cabinets with stoves, prep stations, or mixing stations. Normally you can't place decor on those surfaces, but ghosting changes that. It's such a versatile trick that really opens up your options. In our cozy cabin build, I want to rotate 2 homestead barrels on their side to use as filler decor. At your glitch setup wall, place a small wooden paver on the ground and then rotate it counterclockwise 6 times. Then place the rotated paver on the bottom right corner of the shelf. Rotate the shelf 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now, grab your barrel and place it on the edge of the rotated paver. Now grab the paver and it will auto-rotate back to its original side, bringing the barrel with it. We're going to use this method to flip a makeshift drum and turn it into a planter. This method uses the glitch setup wall, but this time we're going to add a second industrial shelf above the first one. The upper shelf will be flipped upside down to complete the glitch, and the bottom shelf will start the glitch. The space between the 2 shelves is really important. It needs to match the height of the item you want to flip. If the distance is off, the item might get yeeted into the sky, and that's not what we want. Start by placing a small wooden paver on top of the top shelf. Rotate that shelf 180 degrees so that it's upside down. Try to put it back at the same height it was before. Grab the paver from the top shelf and move it down towards the bottom shelf, but don't place it. We're going to cancel place it onto the bottom shelf by pressing a number key tied to another decor item in your inventory. Now place your makeshift drum off to the side and put a gourmet dessert bowl on top of it. Then alt select both the bowl and the barrel together. Move them onto the ghosted paver sitting on the bottom shelf. Now you can go ahead and remove the bowl. We don't want to lose it when the barrel flips. Finally, grab the paver with the barrel attached and place it down normally. The makeshift drum barrel will now be flipped upside down. This is one of the most popular items to flip because it looks so cozy with flowers tucked inside. So let's do that next. Move the barrel out of the way by cancel placing it off to the side. Now you can place your flowers or stunted trees on the paver to ensure they clip into the barrel. Once you're done, reload back into the plot and you'll have a cutie makeshift planter. I saved this method for last because it's definitely one of the most magical. Floating candles, lanterns, books, and even bugs add such a warm, whimsical touch to any build. At your glitch setup wall, place an industrial shelf at the very bottom of the wall and then place a small wood paver on top. Place another industrial wall shelf at your desired height. Now grab your paver from the bottom shelf and move it to the top shelf, but don't place it. Cancel place the paver using a different item from your inventory. Now place your desired item, like a lantern or a candle, on top of the floating paver. If it's a light source, be sure to turn it on now. Grab the paver with the item on top and then place it on the ground. Your item will now float at the height you chose. Now let's float something like a book and give it a little personality by tilting and rotating it. Using the same setup with the two industrial wall shelves, go ahead and place your paver on the bottom shelf. If you want your item to tilt, rotate the shelf once in either direction and place it again. This will tilt the paver and anything placed on it. Now take your paver and move it up to the second industrial wall shelf and cancel place it. Now grab the paver with your item and place it on the ground. You've now got a lovely tilted or rotated floating object. If you want to float multiple items on one paver at differing heights to minimize your item count, you will do the exact same process but multiple times on the same paver. So after you've completed your first floated item, place your paver back onto the bottom shelf. Adjust the tilt by rotating the shelf if needed, and then go ahead and adjust the height of the top shelf. After that, move the paver up to the top shelf and cancel place it. Then go ahead and add your next item. After that, place your paver back on the ground and continue as needed. For this example, I floated and tilted a couple of books with a candle for the entrance of my cottage. Because the vine was in the way of where I wanted the paver to sit, I cancel placed the vine out of the way, placed the paver, and reloaded back into my plot. And that's a wrap on my official tried and true glitching video. It's one thing to explain them, but seeing them come to life across the plot, now that's real magic. Each little trick added a layer of charm, detail, and warmth, and I hope it inspires you to try a few of your own. Whether it's a flickering hearth tucked into a cabin nook, or floating books drifting through the forest air, these little touches make your space feel truly alive. Now before I go, I want to take a moment to shine a warm light on some incredible creators who've helped me on this glitching journey. Whether it's through YouTube tutorials, live streams, glimmers of inspiration, or quiet encouragement along the way, these talented creators have shared their creativity in ways that truly shape how I play and build in Palia. Please take a moment to check them out. They're absolutely brilliant. Matrix Overshock on Twitch, Floors on YouTube, Horrible Gaming on YouTube, and Witchy TQ also on YouTube and Twitch. If you've enjoyed this glitch guide and want to see more cozy chaos in action, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on my next design adventure. And if you ever want to hang out while I decorate in real time, come join me over on Twitch. We have the coziest little community and you're always welcome by the hearth. Until next time, dear friend, keep your inner fire warm and I'll see you back at the Vista.